This video is brought to you by the good people over at Enermax, makers of fine computer cases, cooling solutions, power supplies, and more. For more information, visit enermaxusa.com. Hello everybody, it's Brian for GadgetUnit.com, and today I'll be bringing you my build video for my PC upgrades for 2013. This is part 6. So despite just upgrading a couple of the parts, I actually had to swap everything out because obviously this is a new case, so everything had to be swapped over from my old Thermaltake Armor A60 case over to the nice and new Enermax Hoplite ST in white. So I started with the small stuff first, once I had everything removed from my old case, of course, and that was to go ahead and install the storage devices. So this included a 3.5-inch hard drive, and now this case includes little sleds that you could put your 3.5-inch or 2.5-inch drives into easily. Although for the 2.5-inch drives, you have to actually screw them into place. Not too big of a deal, very easy to do, and then they both just slide into place. Next up, I did my optical drive, which is just a standard light-on DVD burner that just slides into the top bay, as you can see. And since this case features a toolless design also for the optical drives, the 5.25-inch drives, you don't need to use any screws or screwdrivers to get those securely mounted into place. So once you have your drives installed, all you have to do is tighten the little white piece that you see there and just turn it counterclockwise 90 degrees and it's locked into place. To unlock it, do what I just did, turn it right 90 degrees. Next up, another simple thing, the I/O backplate, so that just snaps into the back where it needs to go. Next up, we have my motherboard with my RAM DIMMs still installed, and my processor and heatsink and everything else is still there. So once you move some of the included cabling out of the way, the motherboard should just sit right into place, right where it needs to go. This case already features standoffs in all of the proper places. So once you have your motherboard where it needs to be, all you have to do is screw it and make sure everything is secured into place. And next up, I installed the power supply. So the fan is facing down because there is a little vent at the bottom of the case to accommodate the power supply's bottom facing fan. That screws into place very easily. Now starts some of the expansion cards. So in this case, I have a 802.11 ABGN Wi-Fi card, which I never use, by the way. I have my first MSI GTX 560 and now the second GTX 560, so those slide into place just fine. My particular motherboard has some extra spacing between the PCI Express 2.0 slots, so there's a little bit of extra airflow for the top and bottom cards. There's the installation of the SLI bridge. Now, if you watched my earlier videos, I said that I am actually using a HD Radeon 7950, so more on that in my final overview video, which should be next. And next up on the build, or swap if you will, is the cabling. So first I started off with the power. I'm plugging in the 4 6-pin PCI Express power cables first. So those just go onto the 2 video cards. I also did off camera all the SATA plugs and everything else. And now it's time to put the side panel back on since we are practically finished. This case has excellent cable management in my opinion. There are plenty of extra places to put unused cables if you are not using a modular power supply, as I am not using. And there's a lot of extra space between the motherboard's mounting plate and the other side panel for the case. And that is it. Pushing the power button, you can see that it powered up just fine. The white LED fans look really nice. They aren't too bright. I think that they're just right. And that's it with this video. And stay tuned in the next one for my final wrap-up video.